you've packed your bags, left your hometown or maybe your home country, and embarked the adventure of studying medicine. Maybe you've also decided to do this abroad just for the extra kick. And if you're watching this, you either already know, you've already had the first taste, or you're going to get there. Hello and welcome to a late night rant about med school. My name is Dimitri. I'm a last year medical student at one of Germany's top universities, and I will be talking to you about the 5 things which made me actually survive med school. And also I'm studying in a foreign language because German is not my native language, neither is English, and I had to study, well, I didn't have to, I just wanted to study medicine in German. So yeah. The first part is that it takes longer. Not just the journey on itself, but actually studying. It takes you a lot longer because this is new and you have never been used to having so much information come at your face at once. And that's what you're learning probably now, or you've already learned it. And you're learning new concepts, you're learning how to structure your studies, when to study. Are you a night owl? Do you study in the library? What do you do? And all of it feels like you're climbing a hill with a backpack full of bricks. And if you're also studying in a foreign language, that's a new ball game on itself. So the first part is to actually find things that make you enjoy the studying. Sometimes it's not really that enjoyable, but if you make the right environment, and I think that was the most important part for me, if you make the environment, you should be able to thrive. For me, the biggest problem was that I was trying to study at home, even though I was going to be unproductive at home and so on and so on. Second part is that you should test yourself as much as possible. That was my biggest mistake in med school, is that I wasn't testing myself that much. There was multiple choice, and I'm not the type of person who really likes multiple choice, or in general just like written exams. I prefer to talk and explain the subject. That's why I'm here, and just make it easier for myself. And if you're studying in a foreign language, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's the hard truth. You're going to mess up big time sometimes. Whether it's mispronouncing a word, making a whole grammatical error, and just butchering a whole sentence, it's perfectly fine. Your accent might be off. You're probably going to not know the slang. You don't know the culture because you haven't grown up there. So what you can actually do is just try to embrace it as much as possible and learn as much about the culture as you possibly can, because you're there and it's your job to really try and learn the language as good as possible, because that will help you a lot. But I think will help you really to integrate yourself into friends groups and societies, because, well, the better you speak a language, the better time you're going to have. And well, you're going to have to communicate, and if you're in medicine, you're going to need to talk to people. But first things first, you need to get used to sucking, because there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to try to correct yourself every single time you slip off, you make a mistake. And in best case, if you have friends who are nice enough and also a little bit impolite, as they should be, to make you better, because that's the whole point about friends, to make you better. And you have to understand is that if you move to a foreign country and you speak in a foreign language, you're going to need this language for everything. You're going to need to negotiate both things with your professors, with other fellow students, with the police, or with the visa. I don't know. You're going to need it. You're going to definitely need it. And sometimes maybe just when flirting. And the third and most important part is that you don't need to be that international student. And when I say that, I think it's more common in the US than in most European countries, at least not in the German speaking area that I've encountered. But I think there are some people who go abroad and just show off that they're really the international students. You're not really part of society, which really sucks. And you're flashy, you don't mix up with the natives. Your whole point of university and going abroad is to actually learn and experience the new culture and integrate something from that culture in yourself. And you should not be that international student, because it's kind of weird. I mean, if that floats your boat, whatever, but I think it's a lot more fun when you do what you should be doing. And of course, each culture has its quirks. Some of them are bad. Some of them you're not going to like. Some of them you're never going to understand at the end of the day. And I can promise you that. And I'm not saying to assimilate yourself. I think you should integrate yourself. And integration, per definition, is both keeping the good things from your country and from your culture and accepting the ones which are in the culture there, because that's the only way you're going to have a functioning society and you can be a functioning human being. And it probably will open a lot more doors than you think. Studying abroad is probably one of the coolest things you can do, but sometimes also probably one of the toughest things you can do, because you're completely on your own, especially in the beginning. Studying abroad is tough, and it's also probably the best experience you're going to have in your time. I know in the beginning it's probably tough until you settle, you find your group, you know how things work. But you have to understand that you're not just earning a degree, you're becoming a great person, you're doing something for yourself. You're basically building a completely new life, and you're learning how to be resilient because, well, we already know you have to be. So if you're at the beginning of your journey, take your time, make those mistakes, be more open, and just try your best to be, and try to be as good at this as you possibly can. And I'll see you in the next one.